How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. It's been 21 years since Michael Jordan won his 6th and final championship with the Chicago Bulls. There has never been anybody who's had a greater impact to the game of basketball than Michael Jordan himself, who's without a doubt the greatest basketball player who has ever lived. Not only did MJ elevate his game in the postseason, but he's had many amazing finals moments. So here are 10 of the greatest NBA finals performances of Michael Jordan's NBA career. Number 10, June 13, 1997, Game 6 of the NBA Finals in the closeout against Utah. Jordan dropped 39 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists in 44 minutes. Despite going 15 of 35 from the field, MJ made sure the series was going to be a wrap. With home court advantage up 3-2, Utah was fighting for their postseason lives. After playing excellent defense, had a 44-37 halftime lead. Aside from Jordan and Pippen, the 3 starters in Rodman, Harper, and Longley won a combined 1 of 12 from the field, scoring 3 points. Nobody on the bench reached double figures. Throughout the game, Jordan single-handedly kept his team in it. At one point in the third quarter, he had half his team's 52 points. In an ugly defensive grinded battle, MJ, Pippen, and Malone made all defensive first team, Stockton defensive second team, and Brian Russell did all he can to contain Jordan, but to no avail. Scotty was dealing with a muscle tissue injury in his left foot the whole series. Chicago outscored Utah 26-16 in the fourth. MJ torched Brian Russell, and Shannon Anderson with his mid-range jumpers scored 23 of his 39 points in the second half. Russell nailed a clutch 3 to tie the game at 86 for Utah. With a minute 45 left, Shannon Anderson blew a layup with half a minute left, which would have given Utah a 2-point lead. Drawing the timeout, Michael Jordan told Steve Kerr, "Stockton's going to double team me. Be ready." And Kerr was more than ready. Jordan was indeed doubled by Stockton, threw it right to Kerr, who confidently nailed the clutch mid-range jumper with 5 seconds left to put the Bulls up 2, a moment which will always be cherished in NBA history. Afterwards, Pippen stole the inbounds pass, leading to a Kukoc breakaway dunk. MJ captured his 5th title. Number 9, June 6, 1997, Game 2 of the Finals against Utah, where Jordan finished with a near triple-double, 38 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists on 11 of 20 shooting. After Chicago won Game 1, MJ never took the pedal off the gas, where the GOAT picked up where he left off, was speeding his teammates early. It was Jordan who set the tone the whole game, where the Bulls played like the more desperate team, held Utah to 11 second quarter points, leading to a comfortable 47-31 halftime lead. MJ showed his complete arsenal, making crazy hanging layups, blowing by defenders like he was 24 instead of 34, fell just 1 assist short of a triple-double, but MJ didn't care about that, cause winning was all that mattered. Number 8, June 12, 1992, Game 5 against Portland. MJ had a monster 46 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists performance on 14 of 23 shooting. Heavily outplayed Clyde Drexler, who finished with 30 points, 10 boards, was no match for MJ. After Portland took Game 4 to even the series at 2 games apiece, Jordan made sure he was going to get the last laugh on the road. With his commitment to winning never questioned, the Bulls scored 39 points in the first quarter, having a 13-point lead. After scoring his 18-point with a fadeaway jumper in the second quarter, MJ hurt his left ankle, resulting in a collusion with a courtside photographer. We'll never know how much pain he was actually in, but he said, "There was no way I was going to leave the game. This game was way too crucial to worry about the pain. In the past, I questioned this team's hunger in defending the championship, so we showed our old arrogance tonight and everybody made a contribution." Jordan had 27 first half points, and his team was pretty much in control the whole game, taking a commanding 3-2 series lead with closeout Game 6 2 days later. Number 7, June 11, 1993, Game 2 of the Finals against Phoenix. In one of the best finals duels in NBA history between the MVP Charles Barkley and MJ, both were in the zone the whole game. MJ finished with 42 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 steals, another near triple-double performance on 18 of 36 shooting. Chicago already stole home court advantage after an 8-point Game 1 win, but wanted to annihilate Phoenix in Game 2, came out with the same energy. The game was tight throughout. Despite MJ's 31-point effort in Game 1, Mike took it to another level, was getting his teammates involved. Horace Grant was reliable, knocking down 10 of his 13 shots, but Barkley wouldn't quit and kept coming. The two were the most intriguing personalities in the NBA at the time going at it. Barkley finished with 42 points, 13 rebounds, 4 dimes, played like a real MVP, but the GOAT matched every ounce of his intensity, took over with his mid-range game in the fourth, scored 10 straight to match Barkley's total of 42 points. Chicago escaped with a 111-108 win, taking a commanding 2-0 series lead, but this wasn't even close to Jordan's best game of the series. After the game, Suns point guard Kevin Johnson recalled while he was sleeping with a blanket over his head on a flight to Chicago. In the middle of the flight, head coach Paul Westphal wakes him up and says, "I have some good news and some bad news. Good news is this series is not over. The bad news is you're going to be the one guarding Jordan." Johnson couldn't believe the nightmare he thought he had, with coach telling him he'll be guarding MJ. Coach said it wasn't a dream, it was real. The first thing Johnson did when the team got to the hotel in Chicago, he went to a church across the street from the West End on Michigan Avenue. Johnson said, "Lord, I thought you loved me, but now I lost my faith." We'll go back to this series later this video. Number 6, The Shot. June 1st, 1997, Game 1 against Utah. This wasn't even close to Jordan's best statistical game in the finals. Finished with 31 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists on 13 of 27 shooting, but had a key moment to close out the game. The 69-win Bulls and the 64-win Jazz were by far two of the best teams. Malone won MVP over MJ in a controversial decision in a tightly contested first game. Malone had a chance to put his team on top, but choked by missing 2 clutch free throws. After Scottie Pippen whispered, "The mailman don't deliver on Sundays," Jordan took matters into his own hands, buries the mid-range jumper, crossing up Brian Russell at the buzzer for an 84-82 victory, marking the first game-winning shot at the buzzer in a finals game since Dennis Johnson did it to the Lakers in Game 4 in 1985. Number 5, Game 1 of the 1992 NBA Finals, June 3rd, MJ had 39 points, 11 assists on 16 of 27 shooting in only 34 minutes. The Shrug Game. MJ's greatness can be counted by all of the historical moments and godlike accomplishments, but even he'll admit there was no explaining how it was happening when he was absolutely in a zone. MJ's game wasn't dependent on the 3-point shot, and that regular season alone, Jordan only hit 27 long balls, basically 1 out of every 3 games. But MJ went absolutely bizarre, scoring 35 first half points, hitting long bombs after long bombs, had 6 3-pointers by halftime in total. Even he couldn't believe what was happening. Made an absolute statement against Portland, everybody was speechless. Number 4, June 5th, 1991, Game 2 against the Lakers, featured by a spectacular move. Jordan and the Bulls made sure they dominate. MJ's stat line of 33 points, 7 rebounds, 13 assists, and 2 steals doesn't look all that impressive, but he shot an incredible 15 of 18 from the field, over 83% for the game. Schooled the entire Laker team so bad, MJ set a postseason record by knocking down 13 straight field goals without a miss. Everything was simply too easy for Jordan. Had as perfect a game there was, the only thing to challenge him was himself. When he had a wide open dunk in the lane, MJ could have just flushed it down, but decided to switch hands in midair, making the shot way more difficult. One of the most iconic plays in NBA history, with insane hang time. Everybody was absolutely stunned. With as spectacular a move there ever was in the game of basketball, Jordan went on to win the next 3 games to close out the Lakers in 5, winning his first championship. Number 3, another showdown with Sir Charles. June 16, 1993, Game 4 at the United Center. Kevin Johnson's worst nightmare was in full effect, but at least Phoenix won Game 3 in triple overtime to avoid being down 0-3. But in Game 4, Jordan scored an NBA Finals career best 55 points, had 8 rebounds, 4 assists on 21 of 37 shooting. Jordan went absolutely bananas and would not be denied this game. Everybody forgot about Barkley's 32-point triple-double because MJ was on another level, destroyed Kevin Johnson, Richard Dumas, and Dan Marley. It didn't matter who was guarding him, with the road team winning the first 3 games of the series. After a 44-point performance in the Game 3 loss on 43 shots, some thought Jordan might have been tired, but MJ made sure his team would not lose consecutive home games by all means necessary. Had 33 points alone in the first half, but Phoenix refused to go down without a fight. Chicago had a 106-104 lead with a 7-second difference between shot and game clock. Jordan rose to the occasion, delivered the dagger by hitting the runner over Barkley, and won with 13 seconds left. An incredible shot to close out the game. Number 2, The flu game, Game 5, 1997, on June 11th against Utah, MJ had 38 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. I know there's been some conspiracy theories whether Jordan really had the flu, but it was clear he was nowhere close to 100%. Being physically drained, where the main story before the game was Jordan's physical condition, appeared weak and out of place. Utah took advantage and built a 16-point lead in the first quarter with the series tied at 2 games apiece, but MJ, being the competitor he is, refused to let his team go down, showing flashes of his normal self, exploding for 17 points in the second quarter, slumped over with his hands and knees, leaned far back in his seat on the bench. After the game, Jordan said, "I almost played myself into passing out. I came in and I was almost dehydrated, and it was all just to win a basketball game. I couldn't breathe, my energy level was really low, my mouth was really dry. They started giving me Gatorade and I thought about IV." Utah had a 77-69 lead in the fourth, but MJ scored 7 straight in a 10-0 run, nailed the clutch 3 in the final half minute, giving the Bulls the lead for good. His team escaped with a 90-88 win, a heroic effort that defines Jordan's greatness. Even when he's at his worst, he still delivers. Number 1, The Last Shot, June 14, 1998, Game 6. Out of every incredible Jordan's finals moment, of course, he saved his best for last. Regardless of the outcome of the 97-98 season, the Bulls were going to break up after the season, in which was MJ's last playoff game. He finished with 45 points, had 4 steals on 15 of 35 shooting. It wasn't his best all-around game, but considering the circumstances, MJ was already regarded as the best ever. Showcase us one last dance. Besides MJ, Pippen was the only Bull to score double figures. Malone for the Jazz had 31 points of his own. Stockton nailed the clutch 3 with less than a minute left. Jazz up 3. MJ scored quickly inside, and knowing Utah's game plan, came up from the weak side, stripped Malone clean, got the steal with the ball in his hands, down 1. The GOAT delivered the nail in the coffin, crossed up Brian Russell, the jumper, nothing but bottom. A superhero performance to a legendary perfect ending to an incredible dynasty, going 6 for 6 in the NBA Finals, winning 6 Finals MVPs, something that might never be duplicated ever again. To put everything in perspective, Jordan averaged an absurd 33.6 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, almost 2 steals, shot over 48% from the field in 35 finals games. His finals record, 24-11 overall. There were many other amazing NBA Finals performances for Michael Jordan that I haven't even mentioned. I ranked my top 10 based on the situation and outcomes of the game. Going 6 for 6 in the NBA Finals, Michael Jordan proved why he was by far the best player every one of those series, cementing his legacy as the greatest to ever do it in NBA history. Thank you so much for watching this video. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines, NBA history, and anything basketball that will interest you. If you love the NBA, subscribe for more content, more great stuff coming soon. I love all of you. See you next time.